This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with guitarist Valentin Strasser and drummer Emanuel Brückmüller of the Austrian traditional heavy metal act ROADWOLF. If I knew absolutely nothing about ROADWOLF, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Heavy metal. It's simple as that. I always tried to describe a music to people as heavy metal as from those days when the term heavy metal was invented. You know what I mean? It's the sound of the 70s and 80s. Because nowadays people refer with heavy metal something different, like Linkin Park, and I'm always like, no, not this kind of metal. Back.
On May 19th, you guys are releasing your second album, Midnight Lightning, on Napalm Records. Mano, was there any way that the band approached this album different than your debut album, Unchain the Wolf?
Definitely yes, and also no, because what we do is when we finish up the songs, we write the songs, we arrange them. It always sounds like us, you know. It goes through that engine, and we squeeze out the best stuff, and it always sounds like, wow, okay, now it sounds like us. We definitely hear that now, but what was different was that we needed to change our producer, because he just vanished. He just vanished. I don't know. I cannot describe it any other way. But we had a great producer on the first record, from which we learned a lot. I mean, a lot. We learned how to do a record properly, and he would even send us home while recording. Like after 10 minutes of recording, like, okay, go home, guys. Like, come back tomorrow when you get your shit together. You know. So we would really learn the hard way how to do it, but it helped. And I always was looking over his shoulder, like learning from him a lot. And when he vanished, it was like, okay, who's gonna do it? You know, we don't know any other guys. So I stepped in and I did it myself this time. Pushed the band to the limits, like I learned from our guy Kicks. I think that was a big difference, and also it led to quite attention in myself also to make it right. Like, oh man, I hope I'm up to that job. Like, we want to be better. We want to make a better record than the first one. But wow, I have to do something I never did before. Like, and be better than that guy, or not better than him, but create something that's for us that's even better than the first record, which was done by a professional. So yeah, it was a tough year, but I think we made it, and it was hard work. I think you can hear it.
You can absolutely hear the quality that coming through on this album. Valley, is there something you wanted to add to kind of Mano's extra participation in putting this album together?
I think he did an amazing job. Because our first producer, he was really a professional in every aspect, you know, like sound, and he know how to play drums. He could communicate in a way with a drummer, so the drummer would understand what's going to happen. The same way with bass player and the singer. He was a professional in all these aspects, but Mano is a sound guy, sound engineer, and also a drummer. But he also managed to give us the extra push, also about vocals, also about bass playing, also about guitar playing, and so I think he did an amazing job. And for example, I prepared the solo. And I came to the recording, look, this is my guitar solo. And he was like, this solo sucks. And then he was singing to me, note by note, the solo I should play. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I had to play this solo, and it's a good solo. Thank you so much for that.
We do a lot like this by just singing tunes to each other, you know, like singing melodies. I think if you can sing a great melody, it's great. It doesn't depend on which instrument you play. But if you play it on a cranked up lead guitar, it's the best, you know.
Well, I'm sure there was somebody that said this drum fill is terrible.
Oh yeah, it was, because the drums was the only thing that I could record in my own studio, because it's too small right now. I'm trying to get a bigger space, but we recorded it at LV Sonics in Vienna, and our great good friend of us, and our great live technician Nino from Ewig Frost, that band was from Vienna. He does our live shows. He mixes our live shows, and he stepped in and did a drum recording with me, and he had the hard time with me, so to say. And he pushed me to the limit, and he gave me a hard time, and it was good that he did, and it went well. But he spent a week with me in the studio and definitely got some gray hairs. But yeah, it was necessary. The rest we did in my studio, and we tried to even build on that, and maybe for the next album we make one step more in the direction of making the band, how do you say, non-dependent of separate other studios, other people, you know, that can let us down, you know. We had enough of that, really. So we try to be really how do you say, self-proficient, or the English word? Yeah. We try to be like that, and I think it's a good way for us. Yeah.
So we've covered the recording of the album. Let's kind of get into a little bit of the songwriting. Do you guys write as a group, or does Franz just mainly handle the lyrics?
It's basically myself and Emanuel. We came up with a lot of ideas, like, okay, I have a guitar riff like this, or I wrote like a couple of guitar riffs, or he comes up with melodies on his mind, sing, can you play something like la 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 la? Okay, I can play, and then we bring it into the practice space, and then we jam along as a band and figure out the basic arrangements, and yeah, and then we shape the songs. And also a lot of lyrics is written by Emanuel, by also by our singer. The last record, it was mainly myself and Emanuel writing the lyrics. But this time Frankie did a great job writing the lyrics, and yeah, it's basically a band issue. It's a band work, but the main spark of the basic ideas mostly come from us two, I would say.
So Mano, how did you and Val meet?
Oh, how did I meet Val? Well, I think it was like when, maybe he can tell it in a better way, but I think he was in front of the stage when we played a show in Vienna.
Yeah.
And he was like, who's that guy? Like looking like some guy who jumped out of a Motley Crue video. Like, and it's like jumping in front of the stage, like but doing crazier stuff like we did on stage. So he would definitely he caught our eye, I think, and he was talking to us then after the gig, and we became friends instantly. You know, if you have so much in common. Yeah, and we had definitely had a need for guitarists several times over the years. So a rare commodity, I think, to have a great guitarist that wants to play and wants to stay and wants to write song material too. So we found all that in Valentin, and we definitely asked him then to join the band. Yeah.
You guys just released a new single this week called Midnight Lightning, if you want to talk a little bit about the song.
After I met Mano and the band, we went out drinking in Vienna, and one night we went out into all these rock pubs in Vienna, and then he lost his purse, and we were looking for his purse, and he was singing a melody while walking and hey, I have a great melody. I think I will call it Midnight Lightning. So the spark of this idea goes way back, like not 10 years, but really, really, really long ago. And then I wrote some guitar riffs. I had a song with the working title Burn Out or something like that, some kind of stupid title. But the riff was great, and so we used that guitar riff and combined it with Emanuel's ideas and melodies, and then it all happened at practice space. We showed it to the others. Everybody was like, "Yeah, this sounds great." And then we were jamming along, and then we forged Midnight Lightning, and everybody knew after a couple of rehearsals, hey, this song is something special to us. I mean, as a band, while we never wrote something that awesome, let's call the whole record Midnight Lightning. So I'm so fucking glad we finally, after all this long time, it's released, and you can watch it in YouTube, and you can go on Spotify and show other people, look, this is my band, and this is Midnight Lightning. This is the best song we ever wrote so far.
You have another single that preceded it called Supernatural, which is a pretty damn good song as well, even though Midnight Lightning you consider your best song. Who wants to talk a little bit about Supernatural?
Definitely was spawned by the idea came from the rhythm section, I think, because all these stopped guitar riffs is something I wanted to do a song like that for a long time, but it's not so popular in the band sometimes, like to do this stop go stuff and leave a lot of space. But it definitely the inspiration comes from listening hours and hours of these crazy new wave of traditional heavy metal bands from the 70s, like you can find on YouTube finally. Thanks YouTube. Otherwise we wouldn't even know about them. But I listened to a lot of stuff and was like, hey, why is not anybody doing like stuff like that, you know? And then the second spark that we got, me and Frankie, we were sitting and I showed him this movie poster from a movie from the 70s, like this black lady with a white suit, like with a gun in her hand, like a painted movie poster, and it says like, she's supernatural, you know, like in this 70s font, you know. It was like a gangster movie from the 70s. I was like, how fucking cool is that, you know? Like, let's make a song about that movie, you know? But we never watched the movie. We just wrote the song. But we only had the title, you know? So Frankie came up with the great lyrics, which I think he dedicated to his wife. So in the end, this is it's a perfect example how we do it, you know? It's like one guy has an idea, maybe a riff, there's a rhythm, some guy brings the lyrics, you know, and then we put it all together. We put it in the blender, so to say. Sometimes, like with Midnight Lightning, I think it was also what was not that extreme with Supernatural, but normally, like with Midnight Lightning, we rearranged the song maybe 5 times, like completely rearranged it. But with Supernatural, we were a bit faster, I think. I also think that Supernatural is one of the newer songs, like from the material. I think it's one of the newest songs, besides High Under Pressure, that we did for the record, which was not based on like old material or something like that.
Now, you mentioned that classic movie poster inspiring the song, but certainly classic album covers inspired your album cover, because you have one of those great looking covers that looks painted, sort of like the old matte photos of the 1970s and early 80s. I understand the artist was Luisa Salas. How did you find them to do the fantastic cover art for this album?
You know, when you're in that scene that's going strong right now, you kind of know each other. You know the other bands, you know the smaller bands too, you know the painters, the artists, the musicians. There's so many people involved in that small but cool, like, new wave of traditional heavy metal scene, like it's called now, which is a term that didn't really exist when we started the band. You know, like people were like, "Hey, you're a punk band with solos or what? Like, no, it's like heavy metal, you know. But now there's a strong scene, and you kind of know each other. Like, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's like YouTube. You see the covers, you play with other bands, and somehow you just see like, hey, that's cool. Like, that looks cool. I think she did some cool flyers and posters, and she posted all on her Instagram, and we're kind of like checking this kind of things out all the time, and it definitely caught her eye what she's doing, because she's amazing, you know. And she was happy to do it for us, and I think it was the toughest job until now for her, because it's like that big painting with a lot of details. And she said like, wow, it's like so hard, and it took me so long to do it, and she had a stiff neck like from painting. But she was great. Yeah, great. I can definitely recommend her. Yeah.
In keeping with sort of that throwback vibe, you guys have a vinyl edition of the album and also streaming and CD, but you also have a cassette. Does anybody in the band listen to cassettes? That one has baffled me in recent times, the cassette.
We did a cassette for the first album, and it went well. It was recommended. Like, the idea came from Peter from the Heavy Metal Thunder Festival in Pišek in Czechia, Czech Republic. And he's like, hey, I want to make cassettes. Like, let's do cassettes, like, do a limited edition. We're like, yeah, why not? And they're all sold out like in a week. We're like, oh wow. I mean, I love cassettes. The first Whitesnake album that I ever heard was on the cassette original Walkman from my father. Like, that's how I started to listen to music. So I definitely have a tooth for that. But I don't know, maybe people just collect them. I don't know really. Yeah. But we definitely wanted to do it again for this album. And it took us a little work with a new record label, with Napalm Records. They don't really do it normally. But we were like, hey, we need to do this, you know. the people love it. We love it. We want to have it in our hands, you know. It's a cool medium, I think, and why not, yeah. And the vinyl edition was clear because I think CDs are nearly gone, and nobody really buys them. People listen to the stuff online, like on the Spotify and stuff, and they buy like the record because you can look at the cool cover, like it's like a painting in your hands, and it's also cooler if you like. It's Christmas time and you got a download code under the Christmas tree. It's not cool, you know. And we also definitely wrote the material to fit on a LP. Like, that was clear from the beginning. We said like we need like that amount of time of music. So it was a straight goal from the beginning to make a vinyl, of course.
Valley, how did you guys end up signing with Napalm Records?
That was weird for me personally, because I was so busy with some personal private shit at that time. But as far as I recall it, we released Unchained Wolf. It made a huge impact. I remember before the release of Unchained Wolf, the band were like, hey, we got to release a record. This is going to make like nuclear blast. And it kind of happened like that. And I think Napalm Records heard the blast, and they were like, oh, we got to sign these guys. And then they contacted our management. And then all of a sudden was, hey, you wanna sign a Napalm Records deal? And then we had a meeting and we said, okay, yeah, let's try it. Let's jump into the fire, I guess. And now we're having these exciting experiences of doing this. It's also a lot of work, and it's also stressful because of Napalm Records, with a highly professional partner and a label like this one. They wanted us to at least I was thinking that way. We had to reproduce Unchained Wolf, but in 1 year. But Unchained the Wolf was like, okay, we had a lot of time to produce that record, and now, okay, let's top Unchained the Wolf. But in 1 year, that was kind of hard with a producer that vanished like that. Okay, so we faced a lot of obstacles, but we managed to. Luckily, we managed it. I'm so glad I'm working with my band members, with Emanuel, with my singer, with my bass player, and also with our management and all these partners that made that record happen.
You guys have a album release show coming up on May 28th in your native of Austria with Boogie Hammer and Adrenaline Kings. Do you guys intend to play the album in its entirety, or are you going to do a little balance between the two albums?
The idea is, yeah, we will play the whole record. We also play. The plan is to, of course, to play some of the classics from the first record. Of course, of course, also we want to play Unchained the Wolf because it's fun to play the song live, and it's a good song, and the people love it, and All Hell is Breaking Loose and Condemned to Rock, and also Road Wolf. But we will definitely play all the songs from the first, from the second record, from Midnight Lightning. Yeah.
Do you guys have any other live shows set up for 2023? I know things are still a little bottlenecked overseas with trying to make up all the dates from 2020 to 2022.
Yeah, we got something coming up. Also a local thing in summer, which is still pending, but it's pretty sure we will do that, which we will post then when it's ready to go. And we have a festival, I think. We got the Metaleros Festival in Germany coming up in autumn. And yeah, we got some other stuff. We'll be posting it as soon as possible. But as you say, it's like really hard right now. It's still festivals get canceled. We got some shows that were canceled. We did have possibilities to play shows, which would be like fly in or drive 17 hours and play one show and go back, which right now is very difficult for the band to pay the expenses, because it would definitely be something that would go on our expenses if you do something like this, which we did a lot of times, but right now it's really hard for us. So we will see what's going on. I think there will be stuff happening when the album is out. I think it will people will raise some ears, I'm sure. Yeah, there's still the COVID, you know. There is still the COVID effect, like from the festivals that booked the billings, and they had to postpone it, and send the billing on like in the next year and the next year. And there's like billings that were out like for 2 or 3 years, like. And the festivals are doing it now, so good for that bands. I mean, it's okay. But I think to have like the festivals with the new billings, maybe next year. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll do what we can. We'll maybe do a tour. Let's see.
So, what are the origins of the band's name, Road Wolf? How did you come up with that?
That's a good question. It's a long time ago that we named the band like that. I think it was like the time we really were like into bands like Wasp, you know, and Praying Mantis, like all that cool names with animals like in the name, you know. So it was always like, wow, that's cool, you know, like wolves and like spiders and whatever, you know, like lizard with double sets, and so like we talked about stuff like that. But I think it was like also a time when we traveled a lot. Like back then, me and the one guitarist we had, like Julian, we did a lot of traveling, and like we were all about writing lyrics, about living free, you know, going on the road, like being ourselves, like no boundaries, no borders. And it kind of found its way into the name, you know. We did like write a lot of hard rock, like heavy hard rock back then, and kind of fits the music. And back then it fitted and still fits the music. And I think also with good song lyrics, it's the same. It just needs to, the words need to fit like the music sounds, you know what I mean? I like, I think that's the whole point of it, you know. Why would you call your band Wasp, you know? Why would you call your band Roadwolf? Like, yeah, just fits the sound, you know.
You have this on-stage mascot too. That's a wolf, or was that like a one-time thing that I saw?
Basically, it's like a fixed part of the show. We try to make it happen. Every show that a friend of ours is getting the mask on, and then he acting like a maniac on stage. For example, we played in October 2022. We played a small tour in Spain, and then we came to Murcia. And our wolf friend, couldn't come along, but we found some crazy fan in the crowd who was doing this job. And for him, in his own words, a dream came true. He said he always wanted to be a wolf. Okay, here's your chance. Here's the mask. Go wild on stage while I play solo. We appreciate. And yeah, so
he still has the picture with him on stage as a wolf. Like he also tore away his t-shirt, I think, on stage or something like that. He still has that picture as his profile picture. I saw it. He's still into it.
Yeah, he's a wolf now.
Those are all the questions I have for you guys. The new album by Roadwolf, Midnight Lightning, comes out May 19th on Napalm Records. Fantastic album. You guys should be very proud of it.
Thanks so much, man. Cheers. And yeah, give it a shot. Give it a listen on YouTube and wherever, like Spotify. And keep an eye out for that record.
Absolutely. And thanks for speaking with KNAC tonight.